Everybody, meteorologist Kyle Grainger here in the WVLT First Alert Weather Center, where we've been tracking what you see behind me here. This line of storms that's approaching our area. They're going through Middle Tennessee right now. They have been the focal point for some warnings that have been activated through Middle Tennessee. And now as they inch closer to us, just wanted to kind of give you a heads up of what's going on. So you see the line there behind me, basically approaching Fentress County right now and still through the heart of Middle Tennessee. And you see what's developing behind that main line there. That's what we're going to be dealing with overnight tonight. So that's why the First Alert Weather Day is going to go until about 2 o'clock in the morning. But then we got a resurgence of storms, I think, to come back as we get into the morning hours. So we're going to go through it all for you here tonight so you know exactly what is going on. And we'll pass that information along to you as it manages to come in. So right now we are on the air, on the Facebook at least, to tell you all about what's going on with these storms. I'm going to take your questions. So let me get... hopefully it's now streaming live on the pages here. We'll do that, and I'll try to take your questions as we go forward. These are the main threats that we are looking at with these storms that come through tonight. So it's really until Saturday morning. So overnight tonight, storms are possible. Some of these will be on the strong to severe side. Wind will be a problem. We're going to have winds close to 70 miles per hour in some locations. The hail, we've had reports of possibly golf ball size hail from that storm system you just saw approaching Fentress County. That could do some damage. And the low risk is there that we could have a spin up tornado. If we start seeing some kind of rotation or something, we'll need to seek shelter from that. So these are the primary threats that we're looking at when it comes to the possibility that we could have severe storms overnight tonight. I know a lot of you, if you're like me, I would be getting ready for bed about now. I'm up overnight tonight with you at least until we can give you the all clear. So let's go ahead and dive right into this thing right now. This is the live Doppler right now as it looks for us. You can see just to the west over Jamestown, it's clear right now, but there's that polygon. There were 3 earlier. Now we're down to these 4 with these storms that are going to be approaching Fentress County here in the next little while. So it's knocking on the doorstep of the area. So here we are. Severe thunderstorm warnings are for Jackson, Overton, and Putnam counties. That goes until 8:45. Remember, we're talking about Central Time when you get into this community here. The Central Time frame starts just outside of that. So let's back this up a little bit. I'm going to put a little track on it so we can see what is going on with this storm. And this is moving off to the east here. And there's some of the storms and communities that will be impacted by this over the next little while. So while we do that, let me pull up some information here from the Weather Service. We're going to be very casual with this moving forward, so you can ask your questions as they tend to come in here from time to time on this, and I'll try to answer them, and I'll look over off the screen, and we'll just keep it all casual here. So these thunderstorms capable of producing some golf ball size hail, 60 mile per hour winds, are moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So that's what we've tracked. So if you are in these communities, you need to start thinking about some strong winds and the possibility. At this point, the warning has not been extended by the Weather Service. This is coming out of the Nashville office into Fentress County, but nonetheless knocking on the doorstep by Jamestown. Your time at 8:36, we expect the storms to start approaching you. Your friends and neighbors just up the road from there at about, it'll be 8:28. And of course, we get into Alpine at 8:07. So only about 6 minutes from now, getting into the Alpine community just outside of Fentress County. So we're not very far away from the main line of these storms moving through, though that part doesn't look as impressive as you see that purple blob off to the west there. So when we have these kinds of impacts of 60 mile per hour winds and golf ball size hail, we're looking at anyone or any animal that's outside. We could have some injuries there. We could expect those hail to damage some roofs. We could see some siding, some shingles, windows, vehicles. We could expect those winds to maybe blow some shingles off of some roofs. And also we're looking at siding and trees and all kinds of things. So folks who are in the paths of these storms need to pay attention here. So while they're not quite into what we would consider our immediate coverage area at this point, still does need to be watched here over the next little while. If I'm looking off that way, it's because I've got everything on a screen over there, and I've got information coming in here, and eventually I'm going to have to go to this phone here to get another set of information. I'm surrounded by information. That was just falling over on the keyboard, which I don't even need right now. So we'll continue to move forward. Let me clip back over here to the Facebook screen so you can let me know what you are thinking. I've got the live chat pulled up here, and you can tell me what is going on where you are. Don't see any live comments at this point, but of course let those flow in so we can let you know. What I'm going to do before that warning gets issued, I'm going to go over the rest of tonight. So let's look at the radar and cloud track over the past couple of hours. You see just how strong that storm system is off to the west there. Those are some very, very strong storms when we start seeing those purples build in. And then here's the broader perspective. Something's happened with our computer here that things have kind of glitched up on us. Hopefully that is not a major problem here, but nonetheless, those showers and storms off to the west will continue to move eastward here over the next little while. So right on cue, when we were talking earlier this evening during the 4, 5, 6 o'clock news, I was saying around 9 o'clock tonight, that's our time in the east that we would start to see some of these storms approaching Fentress County, and that's exactly what we are seeing here with those strong storms. You see all of that lightning associated with it. The lightning is moving, but the storms have not on that particular screen. So we'll move forward. We're going to time this out for you hour by hour over the next couple of hours. So here's the Futurecast. By 10 o'clock tonight, this may have overdone it just a little bit based on this model solution, but 10:30 tonight, we've got a broader stretch, if you will, of showers and storms that will be moving from Crossville up to Jamestown, La Follette, Wartburg into Williamsburg. So those are communities that, say, in the next hour need to pay some attention. Let's move the time clock forward for you. Now we're settling into Knoxville around 11:30 at night. So this goes from Knoxville to Maryville, Alcoa, Greenback, over to Lenoir City, down to Madisonville. You're just on the outskirts of this. You'll have some heavy downpours, and that extends all the way up Interstate 75 into La Follette, Williamsburg, and southeastern Kentucky. Not quite made it to Gatlinburg just yet or over to Morristown, but it is on the way. So we'll move the next hour for you, and the next time that we should be paying attention, about 2 o'clock in the morning, some rumbles of thunder in West Knox County right at Oliver Springs, Oak Ridge. Yeah, that's going to wake some of you up with those storms inching closer. Once again, heavy downpours, gusty winds, and hail a possibility. All of the factors are on the table here as we go over the next, say, 6 hours or so. So that's going to continue to move off to the east. And then another surge of storms sort of reemerges when we get close to daybreak tomorrow. And we've got pockets of moderate to heavy rain that move in East Knox County over to Morristown and more building down to the south and west. It's the first home football game of the season in Knoxville, and no doubt many of you travel from the outer towns and communities and villages into Knoxville, the center part of the city, and we got 100,000 people expected to be at Neyland Stadium. And that means 100,000 go in, maybe even 50,000 stay outside doing all the tailgating. So these downpours and gusty winds will be a factor. So let's talk about some of the impacts once again. Doesn't change all that much. Damaging winds, my biggest concern here. Let's talk about some of you who are tailgating. You need to make plans for that, what you're going to do with your tailgate things should one of these storms pop up here. So here we go. Through the morning hours, we've got some batches of rain that's with us, another surge of rain that will move through around 10 o'clock in the morning, approaching the plateau. And you see here, 10 o'clock, a lot of you have already started to set up your tailgates, right? So you've got the tents, you've got the tables, you've got the plates and the forks and the knives and all those things, and you're ready to bring out the wings or whatever you've made for the tailgate. And now we're going to have to start thinking about those winds coming back once again. Those tents will not last if you've got those tents out, maybe in the parking lots or something like that. You're going to have to tie this down very nice and have a way to get it down quickly should you need to do that. Because look at this, some of these pulses of energy can be very strong once again. a 30-mile-per-hour wind, which is not even a severe thunderstorm, can impact your tailgate tomorrow. So that's why I wanted to bring that to your attention. So here's 12 o'clock at the lunchtime. I'm supposed to be down at Vol Village at 12 o'clock tomorrow, meeting all of you. So we move into the 2 o'clock hour. This moves over into the Smokies. Sevier County, by the way, has moved Relay for Life from Sevier County downtown at the courthouse to Sevier County High School. So they've moved the event inside. No doubt some of the rest of you will move the events inside. I've had someone that I've been messaging with for a couple of days now about a wedding in the Cleveland area of East Tennessee. It's going to be a wet day, or it's going to be one of those dicey times on how to plan around that wedding around 2 o'clock in the afternoon for some of you. And you may have an earlier wedding than that. So Smoky starts to get in with some of this heavy downpour, gusty winds as well. And notice we're feeling in the backside with that lighter precipitation. The lighter greens typically do not verify or reach the ground. They evaporate before doing so. So right on through 3:30. Now this is a critical time at kickoff. We get in the stadium, and if there's lightning close enough by, we could get into some kind of delay here, but not by this solution. All of that activity should move off to the east. I'm not going to take out the rain chance altogether because, you know, if I tell you don't take your poncho, it'll rain, right? So that's how it's going to go. We're going to get this right, and we're going to keep that poncho in case we get one of those storms that bubble up while we're trying to get back to our cars after the game, because you see here another surge of storms come in around 9 o'clock at night. And then we're going to say goodbye to it. Sunshine builds in. Sunday's a whole different story. So how about tailgating for you on your Saturday morning? So just like the Futurecast showed, we've got widespread pockets of moderate to heavy rain moving through, really from 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock into that 1, 2 o'clock time frame. It's all around Knoxville, and these models can be anywhere from, say, 25 miles off to 100 miles off. What does that mean? It's raining in Sevierville and it's dry in Knoxville, right? Those situations can happen, and we've got to be ready for that with the on and off batches that will move through and pulse up from time to time. So as you go into the game, those of you who are going to leave your tailgate, I know sometimes you leave the tailgate and you go into the game and you come back out and you sit around waiting for the crowd to leave while you finish maybe another snack or something like that. You need to think about putting all of that away. Fold the tent up, get the tables up, get that put back into your vehicle when you go inside of the stadium if there's no one there to watch it, because one of these storms pulses up and blows your tent into someone's car and you've got a problem tomorrow afternoon. So just think about it. Keep the First Alert weather app handy so you know where the storms are, where they're headed. And of course, they have all of the announcers around Neyland that will be alerting you as to what to do should something happen. So I've got 80 to 60% coverage for you on Saturday morning and into the early afternoon with those winds picking up from time to time. I've dropped my pen there, so I'll have to get down and get that. We have just now gone into alert mode here because we now have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for Fentress County. So let me go back to the trusty radar. Here we go. We'll get the details for you on that. You can see the polygon now takes us right into Fentress County, parts of Jamestown, just that storm that was knocking on the doorstep of Fentress County. This is now activated. This goes until 9:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So that's going to be for about an hour. Can you imagine getting storms for an hour? So we're in the heart of Fentress County, Jamestown, Grimsley. You're just outside of this, but you see if that polygon gets extended, you're going to be part of this as well. So let me look up the particulars here for you so you see what's going on. I know I've got a couple of questions in here from some different folks. Let me get the particulars of this storm out of the way and for everyone in Fentress County, and I'll come right back to you with your questions that you have on Facebook for some of the other areas. I saw La Follette in there. I saw Kodak in there. So we'll get to all the questions in just a minute. Let me hit refresh. I want to read it straight from the source, if you will. And we can do it like this and see what happens. And here we go. All right, so a severe thunderstorm warning for North Overton, Pickett, Fentress County, and Middle Tennessee. This is until 9:15 Central Daylight Time. So this is Central Time. This is not Eastern Time. So we're talking about an hour that we're going to be under this severe thunderstorm warning. At 8:10, A severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles south of Byrdstown, moving east at 30 miles per hour. It says the hazard here is 60 mile per hour wind gust, penny size hail. So that's at least downgraded from the golf ball size that we were talking about earlier. But penny size hail, that'll put some dings in your car, maybe on your paint job. And you can expect some damage to roofs, siding, and trees. So communities impacted here would be Livingston, Jamestown, Byrdstown, Pickett State Park, and Pall Mall will be a part of all of this. So North Fentress County, this is going to roll over into Scott too as folks move forward. So I want to put the track on it for you once again. I need to pull this back so we get a good space here to get the 30 miles per hour going. This is going to be this main line here, 30 miles per hour off to the east. So here's the communities impacted as we go forward. And if your name is on this list, you should be looking to have some shelter, maybe get inside. Some of those high school football games, I'm not sure where all of the ones were out in Fentress County, but or maybe even over in Scott County, but it's something to pay close attention to and be aware of. So Jamestown 8:35, again Central Time, your time, and then Oneida, should this hold together and get into Scott County, we're looking at 10:17 p.m. Moving into Oneida. So that is the severe thunderstorm warning is going to be lasting until 9:15 Central Time. So we've got one more hour for this severe thunderstorm warning to be into play, and will continue to be with us. And I suspect, as strong as the storm down to the south is looking, we'll get more warnings for this storm as well. That right now goes until 8:45 Central Time. So a little bit longer for the folks over in Overton and Putnam counties, but that storm was looking pretty impressive as well. Let me take you in a little bit closer to that storm. Sometimes we get folks from different communities joining us, and you see here just how intense that rain is when we get into Gainesboro and moving off to the east. So Hardy just on the cusp of where that storm system would be, just kind of on the outside of it, but this is on your way. So nonetheless, more of that will be to come, and you see more storms developing and more severe thunderstorms in the Nashville area. So for us right now, let me put this all into motion so you see what's been happening here over the last little while. We've got this cluster of showers and storms, this kind of like frontal boundary out ahead of the main front, if you will, that's kind of developed here, moving into areas of Fentress County, Jamestown first. This is right on the money with what we saw during Futurecast earlier on this evening. So right on the time cue here, we've had several lightning strikes in this area. You see, you can't even hardly see the green and red blobs because of the lightning that has been dropped from that, and more down to the south. These areas are starting to merge, and that's that big line that we were seeing develop as we go over the next couple of hours. So by 10 o'clock tonight on the Eastern time, we're going to be needing to pay more attention. So we've got another 45 minutes or so, I think, for the rest of us from La Follette to Knoxville, Madisonville, back over into Kingston before we have to start paying more closer attention to what is going on. So still some storms off to the west, shower activity. Let me just check this. There's a chat that's on here that we can open up and see if the National Weather Service has given us any information, and they have not. From this is coming out of the Nashville office, so that would be not in the Morristown vicinity. So Morristown has not given us any update from their perspective of what will happen as it moves forward. So we're going to keep trucking along here, if we will. While you look at that big blob of storms, let me take the lightning off so you get a better perspective of what's going on, and I'll just stop at it now and zoom it in just a little bit. And there you go. That's the storms now, how things are taking shape with that severe thunderstorm warning for Fentress County. So I'm going to go back to Facebook. Those of you watching on Facebook, let's go back and see what's going on. Let's see. Is it going to get bad in Pigeon Forge? It does look like just after 11 o'clock to midnight, Pigeon Forge would be an area that needs to be watched. So some of you have asked about Pigeon Forge. Linda, you are welcome. Glad to be able to give you the updates here. And then we go into Paint Rock It's another, Paint Rock's another area that's going to see some heavy downpours at times. Kodak up in Sevier County, La Follette, you're going to be one of the first impacted here tonight. So LJ in La Follette, with your question about what's going on there, notice this leading edge which kind of juts out right there. That's going to move east. So La Follette, you're going to be one of the first to see some of the strongest of the winds and storms. And remember how hot we were today. We still have a lot of juice to work with here, and those dew points at last check were still up as well. Let me see if I can pull that information up and get a perspective of what's going on. Let's see, I think I had that up earlier today, so it should be fairly easy. Dew points, this is a good relative look at how much moisture we have in the atmosphere. It's like I tell the kids when I go to the schools, there's water all around you. And they say, what? Yes, there's water all around you. You just can't see it. It's water vapor, right? So in the winter, when our lips get really, really chapped, the air is really dry. So our lips are chapped. Our skin the water, the moisture is just drawn out of it. So right now, we've got a real moist atmosphere with a 73-degree dew point in Sevierville, 69 Knoxville, 71 for Oak Ridge. So we've got some moisture to work with. This means some heavy downpours can happen as well. So we've got the juice. Let's see where our temperatures are right now. We're still in the 70s, close to 80 from Knoxville over to Lenoir City. Another factor we need to pay close attention to with these storms as they inch closer here. You see all of this this green stuff around Knoxville and ground color. That's what's called clear air mode. So trying to detect anything in the sky that we can to see if there's anything out there, because that radar beam is having to shoot a long way away to get over to Fentress County from Morristown. Even as the bird flies, if you will, or the crow flies, it takes it a while, and it's a pretty long way for that beam to go out in the different layers of the upper levels of the atmosphere to see what's going on. So back to the questions here. Someone else is just saying hello. Crab Orchard, you're going to have some storms. Unfortunately, I think some of the stronger storms will be for you and your community. Sevier County, again, you're going to be an after midnight type thing. So you kind of watch what's going on off to the east, and that'll give you an idea. I am here all night long to let you know what is going to be happening. Belle's going to be coming in about 3:30. I'm going to let her get settled and ready for the morning news, which starts at 6 a.m. Make sure she's all squared away. Then I'm going to go relax. My nose is itching right now. And then I'm going to go get ready for the game day, or stick around if the conditions warrant. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning continues for Jamestown, Fentress County over the next really now 40 minutes. We got to get until 10:15 Central Eastern Time, and that's going to be until 9:15 Central Time before all is said and done with that little cluster of storms that's moving through. Let me go back in and take a closer look at what's going on here. So there's the warning packet just starting to venture into Fentress County at this time, and we can back it out a little bit. This main cluster back here does bear watching, and then we'll pull this out. I'll put the track on it for you if you're just tuning in. A severe thunderstorm warning for Jamestown, Fentress County is going to be going until 9:15 Central Time. That's the story there. It's Central Time, not Eastern Time. So Jamestown, you've got about 10 more minutes or so. Let me step out of the way. 10 more minutes or so before Jamestown is going to be seeing this action. And you see the other communities there on the screen that will be a part of this Scott Municipal Airport, should this hold together, getting into Scott County and parts of Athens over the next couple of hours. Let me get my pen while I'm up. Just wanted to check on something real quickly there. And of course, watching some of the traffic cameras in that particular area as well. So just seeing if there's anything that we can visually see and clarify what's happening on the ground. Of course, those of you who have the ability to send us pictures safely, videos safely from Fentress County, Jamestown, you can do so by way of your WVLT First Alert weather app. Let me just grab this real quickly to see if there's anything that has come from the Weather Service. We've not gotten an update, so nothing new to pass along there. I don't have any new questions on my Facebook. Some of you are on my Facebook page, and then some of you are on the WVLT Facebook page. So let me pull theirs up, or ours, every which way you want to look at it. I guess it's all one big happy family here. And so there's some folks watching there. Let's see if we've got questions that have been coming in there. I don't know if they did this today where they could simulcast the broadcast all across. So here we go. Is Oak Ridge going to have any tornadoes, I think is what the question is. The possibility is there that any one of us could see a tornado tonight. We cannot take that off the table. Anytime you're dealing with severe storms, interacting with warm, moist air, we've got a cooler air mass in play that's trying to work its way in. Anytime we have something like that, it's like the big clash. It's like the cat and the dog brawling. So what happens there? I mean, they might spin around and spin around. That spins up a tornado if you're in the atmosphere. So we cannot rule out that possibility. Rockwood, you're in the same situation. Some of you are at Coalfield. You got hit yesterday, and so I would be prepared again. Unfortunately, what happens is these storms are coming in during the overnight hours, and as we get these storms overnight, you can't see what's happening. We have to rely on, if we get some lightning where you can just kind of see, well, did that tree fall? Or what was that noise? Did something just fly into the house? Those are all questions that you're going to have. I've lived through hurricanes, so I know. During Hurricane Hugo in 1989, we didn't know what was going on outside. We just knew if we opened the door that it felt like the door was going to fly away. And we did not put the dogs in the house under normal circumstances, but my grandmother put her bulldog in the house that day. He normally stayed outside, but for that night and that event, that dog was in the house. She made him stay by the door because he wasn't house trained. But he had his rug and he sat there, but he looked just as worried as we were about what was going on. You hear all of that wind and that rain. This is not a hurricane, but this is a small version of what could happen then. So when in the night, you just can't see what's going on. So that's why we have to be extra cautious at night, especially if you're going to be driving. Some of you during the, say, 11 o'clock hour, you go to work. So that's when some of the hotel shifts have night changes. The morning staff is going to be coming in before daybreak tomorrow to get staff ready for breakfast, change over the hotel rooms. So you're going to be driving during the night. Well, did that tree limb fall onto the road? Are you the first person to actually drive over that road, maybe in your neighborhood, since all of this happened overnight? So just because nothing's happened now, and maybe your house was okay, just take into account, you go around that curve on some of these mountain roads. We know how severe county roads are and these mountain roads. And just go a little slower around the curve so you don't hit a tree limb or anything like that, or maybe that rock that broke off of the mountain and fell down into the road. I've ran over those too and didn't see it and caused some damage to the car. So that's why it's more dangerous overnight to have something like this happen. So over the next couple of hours, really until about 2 o'clock in the morning, that's our main line. Then tomorrow it's more of an inconvenient thing, I think, but we still could have some strong storms. So let's just kind of do a reset here. 9:26 at night. We've been doing this for about 30 minutes or so. We've had our first warning of the evening start to come in. So someone asking about Wartburg, La Follette, is it going to be bad? We have the, again, if you're watching us from East Tennessee, the opportunity is there for these storms. Now it's first hitting Fentress County right now, as you see with this storm, and it's just getting into the interior sections of Fentress County, so right along the county line here. Let me just kind of hit play on my, we'll call it the show again, if you will. I'll continue to try to read your comments on Facebook and all of that for any of you who have different questions or anything. I'll bounce between the two pages here to see if I can keep you updated as best I can. So I'll go back to my page and see if there's any questions there. It's not popping up. Okay, all right, here we go. Well, some of the same questions are there, so maybe they are populating on both accounts. This is the first time I've been live on multiple platforms like that from my folks that normally are with me, and also on the Channel 8 page. So here we go. Cassie, what's for dinner tonight? I need some biscuits and gravy. How about that, Cassie? So we're here for a more serious subject. Some of you join me while I'm making dinner sometimes. So, all right, here we go. So let's start right now. We're approaching 9:30. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Fentress County. Let me just take a swig of water. You watch what's going on. I'll pop the radar back up here for you. And I'm just going to take a brief little second here, grab me a swig of water, and I'm going to come right back, and we're going to start this over for you again. And I'm going to check on one thing from the National Weather Service office. Don't go anywhere. I'm coming back, y'all. Okay. I needed a swig of water. All right. We're approaching 9:30. We're going to pretend like it's 9:30 right now. So good evening to everybody. Once again, I'm meteorologist Kyle Grainger in the WVLT First Alert Weather Center. We're tracking a strong line of storms that's inching closer and closer to us here in East Tennessee, right now impacting our northwesternmost communities of Fentress County and Jamestown. So those of you in Fentress County, now's the time to think about getting into your safe space. Get away from those windows. We could have the winds howling. We've had reports close to 60 miles per hour potential with some of these storms based on some of the velocities that we have been seeing. So impacts as we go over the next couple of hours. This is not the only storm that we'll be dealing with tonight. So overnight tonight, we've got showers and storms coming. It's likely we have strong winds that could cause damage. And it's like I typically say, if you have that one tree limb that comes down in your neighborhood and it breaks down your power, or it hits your house, or it falls on your car, it was a bad storm for you. And then you've got to deal with the insurance claims and all that. So wind is a possibility tonight. Don't park your car under a tree if you don't have to. Hail's a possibility. These storms approaching Fentress County, the early reports said that they could have upwards of golf ball size hail. That's big. I mean, that's big. You know how a golf ball is when it's flying through the air. It looks small, and then it gets closer to you. Or if you've been on a golf course before and gotten hit in the head, I've done that before. It's not pleasant. So that's like what would be happening to your car. Those golf balls falling out of the sky and dinging up your paint job, or hopefully not your windshield. And then there's a low-level risk that we could have a remote tornado that comes in. So that's the possibility that's there until early Saturday morning. So we've got a couple of more hours to go here. The warning has not been extended from that stronger storm that's to the west of Jamestown, but you see here where those warnings are on the live radar, right into the heart of Jamestown right now. Let me turn the lightning back on so we can see what's going on, and I'll put a track on it and just kind of go over and let's see, what are we talking about here? We've got 333 lightning strikes with this cluster of storms. That's a lot. That's a lot of energy to be dealing with. So that's all that has to come through our area tonight. And we still have a good bit of energy in the atmosphere to work with here. So the radar and cloud track on your Friday evening, we've got the showers and storms, that cluster on cue, just as we showed you earlier at 4, 5, 6 o'clock tonight, moving into Jamestown. You see here the showers and storms, the lightning associated with it. We've had some deeper purples in there indicating some of the stronger storms. The clouds have settled in for the rest of us. I imagine some of you are probably getting pretty close to having your Friday night high school football game come to a close. Russell Bivin has been busy on the mic and on the cameras, switching all those things around for you on the Tennessee Valley Sports Network. And here we are looking at the storms, not quite to any of our East Tennessee teams, but nonetheless impacting Fentress County and starting starting to get close enough to Crossville, Cumberland County that you'll need to start thinking about where you're going to be going next for you to seek your shelter. So watch how this has just kind of developed over the past couple of hours. You see the storms, Columbia, Nashville on the screen, and now that's inching closer to us here. So we're still warm, as I showed you just a minute ago, still in the 70s, close to 80. So your first alert forecast really has the energy in this futurecast to deal with here. So here's 10:30 at night, that blob of storms that's off to the west gets closer. It starts to fan out just a little bit. So we've spread the winds out over a broader area, and more people get impacted here from Wartburg to La Follette into Crossville. Now let's move it forward. Here's 11:30. So you're with us on the 11 o'clock news tonight, and we're going to be talking about some of this. We'll be tracking some of these strong storms moving through, probably close. Someone was asking about South Knoxville. So South Knoxville to Seymour, you're going to hear some of the winds howling through some of those hollers before we get into the main foothills of Sevier and Blount counties. Then we move forward. Another surge of energy. It's a little more spotty, so it's not as broad and widespread, but any one of these pulses of energy could get enough energy to send some winds down and cause some small damages there from some straight line winds and that as they try to reemerge. Look at this particular, right where it says clouds. If you look closely, right in there, there's a purple blob. If you're watching on your phone, you may not be able to see it, but if you're on your iPad or something like that, that purple blob, that's indicating some strong storms. So that's one of the deepest colors that we have even on that legend. Now let's move forward into tomorrow morning. Now we're talking about game day. Some of you have plans to go tailgating. I've had folks ask me about weddings. And we also have the fair going on in Knoxville. So that's another group of people that will be a large amount of people converging on downtown Knoxville. And then we've got in Sevier County Relay for Life, which has been moved inside, so that's a good thing. Everyone can seek shelter inside at Sevier County High School, but nonetheless, a lot of folks that will be surging into one place again for a good cause. So 7 o'clock in the morning, some of you are dry. It's still cloudy. We'll probably have some fog develop thanks to the moisture we've had tonight. But then we've got this line of storms that will try to come back once again, so we're going to put everything back into play. Damaging winds, hail, tornado, flooding. All of it back on the cards, all of the cards on the deck once again. So that's Friday night into Saturday morning and through midday on Saturday. So calm maybe for the 8:30 hour, and then look, here comes that rain and storms right at 10 o'clock at night. Downpours once again, pulses of energy, gusty winds. Again, your tree limb might have survived last night, but it can't make it today. Your shingles might have survived last night's storms, but they don't make it with these wind gusts. And even if you got a 30-mile-per-hour gust, for those of you who are out tailgating at 12 o'clock in Knoxville, you know those tents, I mean, they're not going to make it through that. You got to tie those things down as best you can to your car or the back of your truck or something like that. And then my advice when you go in to the game, some of you leave your tailgate out, get that tent put away before it flies away and maybe lands on someone's car, and then you have to deal with that as well. It may not be your car damaged, but your neighbor at your tailgate is damaged. So all of that stuff to think about there as we go into the evening hours, because once we push all this off to the east, we get into game time, and we could have some surges of energy and winds that try to refire up here before the game actually ends. That solution kind of delays it until 9 o'clock, but the potential's there that we'll have these storms lasting with us for a little while. So again on Saturday, early on in the morning, we pay close attention to the heavy winds, the downpours. Creeks and streams can get stressed here, and you know if your neighborhood is one of those neighborhoods where even if someone were to spill a cup of coffee, that it creates a problem. Well, that's what's going to happen here, because we're going to have rounds of rain, and we're not going to have a whole lot of time to dry out here between those storms. So it's rounds that come through and could create some problems, especially in some of those creeks and streams. So here's 10 o'clock at night, another downpour trying to emerge in downtown Knoxville. So let's look at your tailgating forecast. We didn't get through all of this the last time because of that severe thunderstorm that came into Jamestown, which is still there. They've dropped off the back side of it because that storm thunderstorm is now in the interior sections of Fentress County. But we've got 80% coverage for you from 10 right on through 12 o'clock, and we only pull it back to about a 60 to 40% coverage right on through the start of the game there. So the game probably is going to start wet. Your seat's probably going to be wet inside of Neyland. Take your poncho. It can be inconvenient, but take the poncho. You're going to need it. Just stuff it in your bag, and then when it starts to rain, or if you need to sit on it, you can pull it out and sit on it, and you stay dry. There you are. We're all prepared for it, right? And you can say, Kyle said it. When someone says, well, I didn't know I had to do that. And you can say, well, Kyle told me to do that. Northwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Those winds, they can come up over the stadium and down in. So we'll see how those winds maybe kind of circulate. But the bigger story is going to be, does that lightning that we have around for the 3 o'clock hour, is that close enough to cause any delays? So that's something that we're going to watch very closely here as well. So for the game, your I'm All Vol forecast presented by Food City. Starting that game with 40% coverage, the temperatures are at 79 to 77 by the half. So we're in the 70s. If it was just sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, we're talking about a nice afternoon, but it's not. We're talking about rain and storms with temperatures in the 70s. Then by halftime, 77 to 72 for post-game activities. Some of you are going to be hopefully celebrating that Vol win. Just be careful, and once again, pay attention to the ponding on the roadways. Make sure you don't have any tree limbs that fell on your journey and your commute as you head back home, and just watch out for those isolated storms. Most of them have faded on the way. Most of them have moved on, but we could have one or two little rogue storms that try to pop up during the evening hours of our Saturday. So let's just go through the extended forecast. Once we get past Saturday night, and I'm just going to say midnight, we got a nice day coming up on Sunday. Some of you may have thought about going maybe to some of the water parks in Sevier County. Still got those open for a few more weeks. Sunday is going to be cooler in the morning, so it might be a little cool to take that dip in the pool, but then how about that sunshine in the afternoon at 78? Looking a whole lot better then, right? So we've got sunshine, 78 on Sunday, and then we're back into the 80s for all of next week. I'll move out of the way. Look at this, 80s for afternoon highs all of next week. Lots of sunshine. You might be a little chilly out at the bus stop for some of the kids, or maybe if you're going to work early in the morning, you might want that little sweater. You peel that away, but don't leave it in the office so you don't have it tomorrow morning, right? Take that back home with you, get it back in your car so you got it, because you're going to need it every day this week if you're one of those folks who's cold-natured and needs a way to warm up there and stay warm. But you peel that away once we get through the middle part of the day and we start getting back to in the 70s and 80s for the afternoon. So we have been looking at the showers and storms for tonight, and so we're going to get off of here. We'll come back if there's any more warnings. We don't have our 10 o'clock news tonight, but we do have the 11 o'clock news. So that's the story, if you will. Let me take it back. They were asking me to wrap it up real quick. I want to take you right back. One last look before we go at the severe weather moving through parts of the area. Severe thunderstorm warning is going to continue now. Another 30 minutes for parts of Fentress County into Jamestown, and likely, in all likelihood, the way that thing's holding together, it's going to stay with us as we go into parts of Scott County as well. So Oneida, you're next up on the list to get that severe thunderstorm warning extended if it continues to look the way it does. And that one behind it starting to bow out just a little bit. So we're going to go regroup, get ready for the 11 o'clock news. We're not on at 10 tonight, but of course we're back on just as soon as we need to let you know about what's going on. So y'all have a great night. Be safe. Keep your First Alert weather app handy at all times.